Hi, and welcome to the Car Secrets channel. Today, we're going to look at a problem that affects certain Lexus RX models. And what the problem is that the power back door or the hatch door will be inoperative under certain conditions. This can be exacerbated by cold ambient temperatures. And what's going to happen is the back door latch won't unlatch or won't latch, preventing the back door from either opening or closing. This can also result in having a couple diagnostic trouble codes set. Now, these codes would be in the body ECU, not in the engine control computer. Therefore, they will not set a check engine light or a malfunction indicator lamp. You won't be able to see them. And also, you won't be able to read them with a basic, simple engine code checker. You would need a bit more of an advanced scan tool with a few features that can actually read the codes from the body ECU. Now, this condition affects 2016 and some 2017 Lexus RX350 and RX450h models. So let's look at the production change information here. So what that talks about is at what point did Lexus implement the countermeasure? So they found the problem, they discovered that an issue exists, and at some point in production, they started installing the updated parts into the vehicle. Whether your vehicle falls under this service bulletin or not is going to depend on the year and the VIN number. So if yours is a 2016, then for sure it falls under this service bulletin. If it's a 2017, you need to check your VIN number and your particular model and look at this list and cross reference it. So first of all, take a look and see if your VIN starts with a 2T2. That would indicate that it's a Canadian produced vehicle, or JTJ means it's a Japanese produced vehicle. So let's say you have an RX350, it's a two-wheel drive made in Canada. You would look at the last six of the VIN, if yours is a 2017, and see, is your VIN serial numerically higher or lower than the production change effective number. So if it's numerically lower, that means your vehicle falls under this TSB. If it's numerically higher, that means that it does not, and the countermeasure has already been implemented. So it may be some other issue that is causing the particular problem that you're experiencing. If you confirm that your vehicle is applicable to this TSB, then it may be covered under it. Now, it's important to know that it's a technical service bulletin and not a recall. Under a recall, the dealership is obligated to fix every vehicle that falls under the recall, whether it's exhibiting the condition or not. However, under a technical service bulletin, the vehicle has to be within the warranty parameters, and it also has to be displaying the condition that the service bulletin describes for it to be covered under warranty. Otherwise, it would have to be done at customer pay prices and not covered by warranty. So here's the warranty information. This is the op code, which is the code that the technician would submit for the warranty claim. The description is to remove and replace the lock assembly for the back door. The time, zero point 0.8, is what the technician would get paid to do this particular job. Now, if this job is done outside of warranty and paid by the customer, then that time would generally speaking be higher than zero point 0.8 because warranty times are usually lower. The OFP is the original fail part number, and that talks about the part that failed that needs to be replaced. Depending whether the vehicle is Japanese or Canadian made, the part number will be different. So warranty applicability. So it's covered under a basic Lexus warranty, which is applicable for 4 years or 50,000 miles, whichever comes first. Now, important note here is it's from the vehicle's in-service date, not production date. So if the vehicle sat in a parking lot for 6 months before it was sold, the warranty doesn't start counting until the day that that vehicle is sold to the original customer. The parts information here talks about the previous, which is the old part number, and the new. Oftentimes, they will update the part number when they implement a countermeasure, but in this case, they didn't. So the part number is still the same, but the part has been updated. And again, based on whether it's made in Canada, TMMC, or in Japan, TMK, it will be a different part number. Oftentimes, these part numbers can be used interchangeably. Um, as far as I've seen, that doesn't really cause any issues, but confirm with your dealership just to make sure before you proceed with a replacement. The required tools and equipment, well, it's just a plastic pry tool kit, a special service tool here. Could be any tool kit that's required to remove the panel in the back of the hatch to access the latch for replacement. And then here they're talking about the tech stream, which is the OEM, Lexus, and Toyota diagnostic tool or scan tool, which they would use to scan for those fault codes. Now, before the dealership will do this repair, at least under warranty, they need to confirm this condition, as I mentioned, with a technical service bulletin. So first thing they need to do is check, is the power backdoor system actually turned on in the instrument cluster? And you would be surprised to see how many people come in and say, hey, my hatch doesn't work, there's a problem with it. And the only problem is that they've accidentally turned the feature off through the combination meter in the instrument cluster. So once it's confirmed that it's on, the tech will set the opening position to position 5 for testing, which is the maximum opening position. And next step is to confirm hatch alignment. Now, this is important because let's say if the vehicle was in a rear end accident and it was repaired, or maybe it still hasn't been repaired, the hatch could be all out of whack and tilted, and that could be causing it to jam on the latch and not release, even though there's nothing wrong with the latch itself. And then lastly, they will confirm that the touch sensors are not damaged. And that's the black strips that run alongside both edges of the hatch door, and they prevent the hatch from jamming on your fingers when it's closing. So that's the safety feature, and they need to make sure that those are not damaged as well. So if that all checks out, they will connect the tech stream, the scan tool, and check for diagnostic trouble codes. So they'll be looking for B2250 and B2251 to confirm that the latch is actually acting out. The next step will be to operate the power back door and confirm that the problem is actually there. Now, because it is often happening only when it's cold outside or it's made worse by cold temperatures, they may want to leave the vehicle outside for a few hours to cool it off and before attempting to duplicate this problem. So they'll be looking for one of the 4 issues. So maybe when the button is pressed, the back door latch does not release at all and the door doesn't open. And this would be from both the instrument panel button or from the key or even from the back door button itself. Nothing will operate. Another possible situation is where the power back door will open, but then it won't close at all afterwards. Or it may start closing, but doesn't fully close and gets kind of hung up in a half closed position. Or lastly, it could start opening and then not fully open and just kind of get hung up in a half open position. While one of these conditions is happening, they'll also be accompanied by a single long beep, which indicates that there's a malfunction with the system. So once one of those conditions is confirmed, they will go ahead and order the updated part and replace it. And next thing to do is perform the power back door initialization procedure. And generally speaking, what's involved is just manually opening the door fully all the way and then manually closing it all the way, and that initializes it. And then lastly, they will just confirm that the power back door operation is normal and everything's working like it should. Well, hopefully you found the information in this video helpful, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for watching.